as many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now,
July 22nd, 1987. That is 5 years younger, 37 years old. 37 years old. And you decide that this is what you want to do. That's crazy. And both of these guys, the one from New Orleans and then also this guy, formerly served in our armed services or the military.
As you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle.
Took himself out.
One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person, as well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans.
I don't care what they say. I believe that they're closely related. You do not just have 2 guys that both allegedly was on the same base at the same time during their military career that executed on the same premise of renting a vehicle off of Turo and blowing it up and both of them had explosives inside of it. Obviously, one was a little bit more effective than the other one and doing some of the most damage, which obviously we praying for the friends and the families of the people that was affected over in New Orleans. Uh, this guy decided that he wanted to Turo a Cybertruck, and that wound up being in the benefit of the general public because when a Cybertruck blew up, it actually contained the fire and it just went up. It didn't go out and it didn't even blow up the doors and the windows of the Trump Hotel over there in Las Vegas. But it's nothing that they can tell me that would say that it's not closely related and tied together. Get out of here with that.
We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military.
Not
Both
anymore.
of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
See what I'm saying?
What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under
I'm
investigation.
glad they're being transparent about this, though.
And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles.
All of this just so happened to be a coincidence? Nah.
As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD that he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve.
Imagine how many of these
I'd like
guys
to point
could
out to
possibly
you
still be
that
doing stuff and
through
feeling some type of way.
exceptional
He was still in the military.
joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado, and Carlos will put up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th.
Shout out to
On
Elon
the
Musk.
31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico.
Well, at least y'all know that it's easy for y'all to and we have the infrastructure as far as on the Tesla network for you to be able to get across the United States of America.
On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump Valet, and I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there.
It's amazing that nobody was hurt except for him, or nobody was killed except for him. That's dope. Never know who was who. So he did a circle. He probably thought about it, realizing that this is his last
So through
moments.
extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard.
Thank
We
God he didn't
didn't
do
have
nothing
a
anywhere.
video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands. See that there?
Maybe he's just enjoying
That's
the truck.
north on
Who
the
knows?
boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here, the first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office, Spencer Evans. Spencer?
Good morning. My name is Spencer Evans. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. As the sheriff mentioned, we've been working through the night with our partners, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and other agencies, to gather all the facts and determine a motive to what was initially reported to the FBI as a bombing incident, to which our Special Agent Bomb Techs and others responded. Obviously, we're always concerned in these sorts of events to ascertain what the motive is. We understand that's everybody's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And so looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our number one priority. This is why the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has been brought into play. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, most important part of that acronym is joint. It is done in concert with our partners, which are comprised of more than a dozen investigative agencies.
So Fraggle Rock is now in charge. We got pretty much everything we needed to know from this. So basically what they telling us is that this guy was a part of our military, was still active service, and he basically executed in the same way that the previous guy executed, except he was less effective, and he picked the wrong vehicle to do so. Shout out to the Tesla Cybertruck. And he was burned beyond recognition, and he was on leave. I mean, that's pretty much all what we confirmed. Then he rented the vehicle from Turo, and then he rode to separate places, which apparently shows that he wasn't sure what he was going to do and what he was doing. And that's the danger of being radicalized. As I get more information, as usual, I'll continue to keep you guys updated and in the loop. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. I just did a Patreon exclusive today, just literally within the last 30 minutes. Did a Patreon exclusive today. That is absolutely awesome. I love you. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.